Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I am going over my NFC North predictions for the 2020 NFL season. I'm going to be doing two prediction videos today. I'm doing the NFC North and I'm doing the NFC West. The reason why I'm doing two today is because I really wanted to finish this series before the season started, and the only way to do that is if I could do two videos today and one video tomorrow. So, the goal is to finish the series before the season starts. I'm going to do two this morning and then one tomorrow. I'll probably space that when I release the ones today, though. I'll probably do them both this morning, but I'll probably do one of them around 11:30 noon Eastern time, and I'll probably do the second one around like 5. So stay tuned and make sure to watch the second video later today. So, this is 2021, my dude. So, as I've been saying, these predictions are brutally honest, okay? These are a little exaggerated because I am merely picking who I think the better team in each matchup is. Not how good the team overall is going to do. So the record predictions are not accurate to what I believe. I did a record predictions video last week. So this is not record predictions. This is individual game predictions and how I think each team would do if you looked at each game on an individual basis. So I think a lot of people have put a lot of stock into the records that I've given teams during these videos. It's not about the records that I give the teams. It's about the individual games and how I think that they'll impact the season. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. First off, we have the Detroit Lions at 1-16. Again, I don't think the Lions are going to go 1-16. I think they're going to go 2-15. I think they'll have one upset this season. I don't know if it'll be the Bears, the Vikings, the Broncos. I don't know who, but I think they'll have one upset this season. So this will be a pretty straightforward section of the video. San Francisco has a fantastic offense and a fantastic defense. I don't see the Lions beating them. Same with Green Bay, same with the Ravens. I don't see the Lions in any world beating any of those teams. Any world. Moving on to the Bears and the Vikings, both divisional rivals. I can see the Lions winning one of these 4 games. They have 4 games against the Bears and the Vikings. I can see them winning one of those 4 games. Which one? I don't know. I'm not going to predict. The goal for me for this series is to get as high a percentage of games correct as I can. So I think that they'll win one of the 4 games against the Bears and the Vikings. I'll pick the Bears and the Vikings to win all 4 games. After the Vikings, we have the Bengals. I have the Bengals winning because I think that by that point in the season, Joe Burrow will be very acclimated to his team, and I think that Joe Burrow and the Bengals are a stronger team right now than Jared Goff and the Lions. The Rams are in a similar situation to the first 3, where they're just way too strong of a team offensively and defensively for the Lions to compete. I think Matthew Stafford was an upgrade for the Rams. I think that Jared Goff was a slight downgrade for the Lions. So, I mean, if that tells you anything. And then last year, the Rams were just obviously a better team. I have the Eagles being the first and only win of the season for the Lions. I think that the Lions might have a better team than the Eagles. It's a very close competition. They're fighting for the worst team in the NFC right now. They're in a dogfight for the worst team in the NFC. So I have the Lions beating the Eagles because I felt bad for having them at 0-17. I have the Steelers beating the Lions fairly handily as well. And then the Browns, I think, are going to be one of the best teams in the AFC this year. So I don't see the Lions really posing too much of a threat there. I do think that the Browns could beat the Broncos, but I think the Broncos are a better team in almost every way. And I think that it's a much safer thing to just say that the Broncos will win. And then by the slight chance that the Lions do win that game, then it's one game. It's not a big deal. And then the last 4 games of the season it's just hell for the Lions. Arizona, Seattle, and Green Bay. And you have Matt Ryan in there. This schedule is just terrible. They have the AFC North. They have their own division, and they have the NFC West. This is by far the hardest set of teams any team in the league can be against. Being the worst team in your division and then being against three of the hardest divisions in football. It's just awful. It's just terrible. I feel so bad for them. Moving on, we have the Chicago Bears. Again, the Bears and the Vikings. I think that they're better than 5-12. I think both of these teams are 7-10, 8-9 teams. 7-10, 8-9 teams. But they're against their own division. They're against the NFC West, and they're against the AFC North. And the Bears are against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on top of all of that, because the Buccaneers were number 2 in their division last year. So, again, we have the Rams. I think that should be a fairly easy loss for the Bears. We have the Bengals. I think that the Bears should be able to pull a defensive win over the Bengals, like a low-scoring, like 24-21 game. I think that the Browns should easily beat the Bears. I think that the Bears will be able to beat the Lions twice, and they'll be able to beat the Raiders. And then I have a losing streak after the Lions and the Raiders of Packers, Bucks, 49ers, Steelers, and Ravens. All of those potentially being 10-win teams. 5 games in a row. Then we have the Lions again, which should be an easy win. And then we have the Cardinals and the Packers. And again, 2 phenomenal teams. I think those are going to be the 2 strongest teams in the NFC. I think that between the Bucks, the Packers, and the Cardinals, they have all 3 of the 3 strongest teams in the NFC this year. After the Packers, we have the Minnesota Vikings. I have them splitting with the Vikings, losing to the Seahawks, and losing the last game of the season to the New York Giants. I think that by that time of the season, the Giants' offense will be clicking on all cylinders, and it'll be very hard for the Bears to win that last game of the season. Moving on. I think that we have a slight inaccuracy in my. I think that it's this. I think that the Giants are the second to last game and the Vikings are the last game. Because in the Vikings, I have the Bears as the last game. So, slight inaccuracy. Sorry about that. For the Vikings, first game of the season, we have the Bengals. I have that as a win for both the Vikings and the Bears. And then the next 3 games are 3 of the hardest teams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Browns. I think that the Vikings could pull out a victory against one of those teams, but their defense is just so bad that I don't think that they'll be able to keep up. I think Seattle will be an interesting game because both of those teams have fantastic offenses and bad defenses. So that'll be an interesting game to see how it unfolds. I have them beating the Lions and the Panthers 2 games in a row, and then going on a massive losing streak against 5 10-win teams. The Cowboys, the Ravens, the Chargers, the Packers, and the 49ers. After the 49ers, we have a win against the Lions, and then 4 more 10-win teams minus the Bears. We have the Steelers, the Bears, the Rams, and the Packers. I have them splitting with the Bears, as I said previously. Steelers might not be a 10-win team, but they're still going to be very strong. Teams that the Vikings that potentially have 10 wins. I'm going to look at the Bears because I also have the Buccaneers. You got the Rams, you got the Browns, you got the Bucks, you got the Packers, you got the 49ers, you got the Steelers, you got the Ravens, you got the Cardinals, you got the Packers, you got the Seahawks. That's 10 out of 17 teams could have 10 wins. It's insane. It's an insanely hard schedule. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Green Bay Packers at 16-1 with this insanely hard. So again, I don't think the Packers are going to go 16-1. In my record prediction video, I had them at either 13-4 or 14-3. Because I think that between the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Rams, they're probably going to win 2 of those games. Don't know which 2. I think they'll probably lose. I don't think they'll lose to the 49ers, but I think that they'll probably lose 2 of those games. I was going to have them losing to the Seahawks or the Rams. I was deciding which one I was going to have them lose to, but I was like, Seattle and Los Angeles have very even teams, so it's hard to pick upsets when your goal is for bulk percentage correct. So it's an interesting way that I'm doing these, but I don't think the Packers are going to be 16-1. I think the Packers are likely going to be 13-4 or 14-3. So first game of the season, I have them beating the Saints. The Saints have Jameis Winston at quarterback. I don't think this should be a very hard game for Green Bay. Second game of the season is the Detroit Lions. I see the Packers winning that game 48-3. Third game of the season is the San Francisco 49ers. And I think that, again, the 49ers are going to have a strong team this year. I think I have them at 10-7 in this for the video I'm doing later. But, again, it's a tough matchup. I think that the Packers should be able to come out on top against the 49ers. Next up is the Steelers at 8-9. Well, that's what I had them at in the thing. But I think that should be I think that the Steelers offense will still be getting used to playing with each other. They're still going to be figuring out how they're integrating their running game, and the Packers will be able to catch them off guard at the beginning of the season when they're not prepared. The Bengals should be an easy win. I also think that there'll be an upset in their division. There's always an upset in their division. It's just hard to predict an upset. Like last year, I predicted the Vikings to upset the Packers in their first game of the season. The Packers won that game, but they lost to the Vikings later on in the season. So, like, you can predict upsets, and you can be correct that an upset happens, but you can have the wrong game for the upset. The Packers lost in Lambeau. I'm not going to predict the Packers to lose in Lambeau. It doesn't make any sense. So, I think they'll lose one of those 4 games, but I'm not going to guess which one. Just like the Lions. Like, I think the Lions might win one of those 4 games, but I'm not going to guess which one. Washington, I have them beating fairly easily. And then I think their first loss of the season could come to the Cardinals. But I think that Green Bay has a more solid and consistent team. I think Arizona's going to be one of those teams that wins by 40 and then loses and then has like a really crappy game. So I think that Green Bay is going to be more consistent and is a safer bet to pick Green Bay. Kansas City is the only loss I have marked on here. I think that Kansas City is going to beat the Packers. And then we have Seahawks, Vikings, and Rams. I have the Seahawks and Rams both losing. I originally had the Seahawks winning, but I was like, It was a tough call. But I think that it's safer. It's a safer prediction to have the Seahawks and the Rams both losing. I have the Vikings losing twice, I have the Bears losing twice, I have the Lions losing twice, and then that leaves the Ravens and the Browns. I think the Ravens are like one of those top tier teams that's like a top tier wannabe, where like they beat everyone else and then they like lose to the like all of the other top tier teams. They're like right on the cusp. So I think that the Packers should be able to win that game, and then I think that the Packers will beat the Browns. But it's a tough schedule. And I think that Green Bay will probably come out of it 13-4 or 14-3. I'm not sure what I put on my video, but either way, it's a tough schedule. I think that they'll do very well with it, and I don't think they're going 16-1. Just so the record clear, I don't think they're going 16-1. 16-1 is not my record prediction for the Green Bay Packers. So thank you guys all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let me know if there's any upsets that you want to call for Green Bay. If you want to call an upset for Green Bay, which games are you gonna call? It's my 2 cents. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.